Let's have a look at the Queen Mother, then we'll take some questions. Because you're kind of asking him anyway, so I figure you guys want to talk more than you want to listen to us. So let's have a brief word about the Queen Mother. And Rich, it's only right that I come to you. You've teed this up already. There is a strong possibility, or is a possibility at least, that you run Min, good solid second favourite here, and Douvan.
Yeah.
Who, if he ran and turned up, would be as big an enigma to roll up at the Cheltenham Festival as there's been for quite a long time. How are you seeing it in your head at the moment, given what you're hearing from Willie Mullins?
Well, it's interesting because I certainly don't want to run, and I think Susanna feels the same way. I don't think we want to run Douvan unless he's going to go and do himself justice. And by that meaning he has a chance to win, not just be competitive. Min has done nothing wrong this season. I know he was disqualified in Ireland, but that was a weird time for Willie. He ran stones below what he should have done in his rating that day. He still won the race, lost it in the steward's room. I think he would have won it despite the interference. It was right to take him down, by the way. I'm not debating the decision. But I think that Altior has been such different gravy, and he was so good the other day. He will be hard to beat. Douvan, on his very best day, would, I'm not saying he'd beat him. He'd give him a great race, and that's what we want to see. And I'm hoping, and I haven't had this conversation with Willie yet, I don't want to run Douvan unless Douvan is going to do himself justice in that environment. I'd rather keep him for Aintree or for Punchestown. But if he does show up, I think you can assume he's going to go there very well prepped. And I know that Willie was asked on Monday when David was there at the press day, who would Ruby ride? Would he ride Min or Douvan? And Willie said, well, it'd be hard to get off the form horse, which would be Min. I'm telling you what, if Douvan runs in the champion chase and Ruby doesn't ride it, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked.
Will you run them both?
Yes, we will run them both, yeah. That being said, that's the plan at the moment. Anything can happen. But it is our intention to run them both there. I know that's unusual for us. I don't like doing it. But I think they're both 2-milers. And I think given it's Douvan's first run of the year, that is the race for him. And so I know you always have to take with a grain of salt, justifiably, because we've screwed this up historically. Based on their work? At the moment, yes, but you've got 2 weeks to go.
Why did you enter Douvan in the Red Wheels at 2.5 then? Because it's 2 miles.
Oh, Willie entered him. I didn't. No, hold on. I'm not passing the buck. I think what Willie thought was if the race cut up and it was going to be a 2 or 3 runner race, which has happened in the past, and it was an easy sort of cruise around, we'd get a race course gallop into him, be good. But as Willie has also said, if it was anywhere else in the country, because it's 5 miles down the road, anywhere else in the country wouldn't have dreamed of entering. Look, we've got history. I understand that. But I'm telling you, at the moment, our plan is to run them both if they can get there. It's not ideal for me. I'd rather keep them separate. I really would. And whether you like that or not, hard cheese. I mean, but why would you run? You've got chances to win multiple races. Why would you run in the same race? But at the moment, they both seem to be 2-milers, first run of the year, and that is both their target. Anything can happen, and Undeso got hurt or something else happened, anything could happen. But at the moment, the plan is to run them both in the champion chase. And if Douvan does run in the champion chase, I would say he'd go there because we believe he can win, not because we want to just run him in Cheltenham.
Would Min go anywhere else then?
No, I think Min will definitely run there. I
Which
can't see Min going anywhere else.
Which we'll get questions in just a second. Which begs the question, Luke, is the best of Douvan...
By the way, I think Altior will win.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is the best of Douvan better than the best of Altior?
I don't think so, I'm afraid. I love Douvan, and what he was doing, the way he jumped, is just spectacular to look at. But as I said before about Fahim, it's nearly impossible to bring a horse back, any athlete back from a layoff like that and an injury, to the same level of form. And even at his very best, I'm not so sure that he'd beat Altior. Altior, don't forget Altior, thrashed Min in the Supreme Novice and Bouvier Dare. Altior, for me, would still win the champion hurdle this year if they decide to run him in that. He's just, when you're looking at these short price horses, you're looking at reasons to take them on. There are none. He jumped absolutely brilliant nearly every time he's been out, Altior. He goes on any ground. He'd actually get 2.5, yet he's got so much speed for 2. He's just flawless. He couldn't have been fit. I know for a fact he'd only done 2 bits of fast work before he went to Newbury. And I stood next to him in the winner's enclosure, and he looked as though he just walked around the paddock. He wasn't even blowing at all. But it goes on any ground. He's almost a freak. The one thing you could say, that he wasn't that impressive in the Arkle last year.
Yes.
He would have won anyway. Charbel would never have beaten him. But
Agreed.
No, he wouldn't have.
Agreed.
No, he
No,
wouldn't
agreed.
have. No, he wouldn't. You know.
Agreed. Absolutely right.
But I was going to shout you down anyway. But he wasn't. No, they bounce. They bounce, and then they have a really hard race, and they run their race on freshness. So they do that little extra bit, and then that's when they bounce. He wasn't even tired. He was hardly blowing up in the again. Like Bouvedere, he can't get beat.
All right, we'll have questions in two. You got to, what? I promise you can ask the first question. Go on, Keels.
Yeah, there's a fascinating stat. One of the guys from Timeform came out with. Some of you probably read it on Twitter. They're saying that the number of top-class chasers that have come back from a long break in the new year, breaks of almost 300 days or whatever, there have been 106 chasers rated 150 or more come back in the last 10 years and won first time out. Had Min not been disqualified, he'd have only been the second to have won second time out of those. Now, that's a lot. Now, obviously, most of those horses will have had tendon problems and other leg injuries rather than just a minor wind-up, and it might not matter. But it's probably a lot better for Duvan to go there first time out rather than have had a run, and there is that slight question mark. I think Altior's the nearest thing to Sprinter Sacra we're probably going to see for 10 to 15 years, and if he's right, he'll win. But I'm not a short price punter anyway, so I won't be lumping on him. I've got no great enthusiasm for taking him on. I want to see him win. But if you're going to go chunking in at short odds, that would just make me worry a bit.
What about a tiny chunk at big odds? Is there anything that appeals as a just chuck a fiver at once?
No, Special Tara will probably be in the frame, but he's not going to be winning this one. Well, the whole thing, we're returning second time after a break.
Okay, we'll take some questions on the first couple of days. Anyone want to ask it? Yes, that gentleman there has been champing at the bit.
Absolutely. Last year's Gold Cup winners, which was...
Size and John? Yeah.
You guys beat it by 10, 15, 20 lengths with Duvan. How come you never considered Duvan for a similar...
Going up in trip.
Just for the record, we beat him 7 times in the trot. We obviously, yeah, Size and John's better, we're further. I think, to be honest with you, if Duvan had an uninterrupted run and had won the champion chase last year, I would have been pushing to up him in trip this year.
He looks like a gold couple, doesn't he?
He does. But given the fact he's had these injuries, we're going back to 2 miles, and we'll take our chance. I would love to win the race. I love Altior. I love their owners. Patricia Pugh is very nice. They're lovely people. Wouldn't I love to stuff them? But she's lovely. And they're lovely people. I love Nikki.
Take that in the nicest possible
Of course.
sense.
Of course.
As a horse gets older, it gets slower, and naturally you have another Gold Cup so you can go with it because you're a competitive.
Won a champion chase either yet.
Yeah.
Surely it must be, at the forefront of your mind.
Well, I'd say we'd up him in trip next season, definitely. Yeah.
Next season it will be a Gold Cup or around it.
I'd say we'd go for the King George with Duvan, all things being well, next year. Yeah.
Any more questions? Yes, just here.
Rich, any comment on Bon Bon Meow from Willie's and the RSA? Because Paddy Mullins was talking them up, and as you know, he's there. The second question, any sort of handicap views on the first day or so?
Nice horse, that Bon Bon Meow. That's the Wiley's horse, isn't it? Run well. I was talking to Joe Chambers, our racing manager, earlier today about the festival. I think Graham could have a good festival. Maybe not in the big races per se, but in some of the handicaps. I think he'll go well in whatever race he runs in. As far as the handicaps are concerned, our old dear friend Max Dynamite, who has been second and third in the Melbourne Cup, fourth in the county hurdle. He's in the Coral Cup. He's in the county. I think he must have a great chance. I think he's well handicapped. I think of Woody's other horses. I think Avoid a Rev, which is a Wiley horse, has a great chance wherever it is. And I know Woody thinks the world of that Mary Levy, whatever it is, the filly, who won on its heels the last day. So I think that might be one to look for as well. We won't have many. If Dale Desterval got in, any race, I'd be backing him. But of ours, I think either Townshend or if Live Love Laugh got into the novice chase, that'd be good. But I think Woody's best chances in the handicaps. Whatever he runs in the pipe is always his best horse. Interesting, Lee, in the handicaps.
I'm quite interested in York Hill running the champion here.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Wouldn't win a cellar on what it's done this year.
If you can't hear at the back, by the way, the gentleman says he's interested in York Hill and the champion hurdle, and Paul Keeley said why.
It seems to be one of them horses that always turns up at his first start horse. Are you sure it can't at least make a place?
On what it's done this year, no. Its best piece of hurdle form is beating 007 in the Tolworth hurdle. 007's a 3-mile chaser now. Its best bit of 2-mile hurdle form. Best bit of 2-mile hurdle form. Like, and he hasn't run 2 miles for years. Like, what I mean? He ran one chaser odds on. So, I can't see it. I think, they want to give Wiley a couple of runners there because he's an absolute shite season. But, I mean, it's just going to get worse. York Hill ain't winning nothing.
Yeah, just here. Clayman taking Forgan. Clayman taking Morgan. That one. Henderson's that got beat at Musselburgh. Anyone want to stand up for Clayman taking Forgan?
Well, we were talking about this earlier on, and Nick said there's a couple of horses here that I wouldn't bet with anybody's money. Right? And the first one was Clayman taking Forgan.
And
And in this book, he's 14 to 1. He's actually 8.
Yeah, and you agreed with me.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not good enough. He's got the one thing that's in. He's got festival form because he ran a cracking race in the bumper. He probably won well. I don't think he's classy enough to win a Supreme.
Does DJ still like Western Rider?
Oh, don't talk about that.
Come on, Dave. Go on, stand up for yourself.
Like,
Don't be bullied.
Right. All I wanted him to do was, because you can forgive a horse one run, all I wanted him to do was just come out of Huntington next time and just give me some reprieve.
He ran
on Twitter.
okay.
He ran all right, but he was still beaten. But like, he tipped Somerville Boy for the Supreme, and he absolutely annihilated Somerville Boy. So that was my counter argument. But Western Rider, I don't know. I've obviously got the horse wrong, like I do numerous horses. He's obviously not good.
Hello, Rich.
Yes.
Tell us about 3 of your horses, Senny Walk, Anamix and South Soretta.
Right.
So,
Senna Walk is
dead.
retired, I think. We gave him away. A great talking horse from last season. A good workhorse couldn't breathe. The second one was Animix is a lovely horse. Woody told me in October he was the best novice he had, and he unfortunately did a pelvis. So he's out, plenty of walking, not a leg, important. He'll be back next season as a novice, which is good, and he's only 5, which is great, so he'll be good. Now, Salsaretta, the old salsa queen, can't seem to get on the dance floor. She was entered in Ferry House, cancelled, entered in Clonmel, cancelled, entered in Clonmel again, cancelled, the races. So I think in my own head, where we are, where Suzanne and I and Joe are, is that we might do a campaign with her like we did with Let's Dance, which is it's so late in the season now, why go out and win a maiden? Let's go out and try and win a graded race. If we win, great. If we don't, that's okay, save her for next season. If she sparks, she's entered in the Mayor's Hurdle at Cheltenham, that'd be great. But I do believe that Woody thinks Lorena is like Let's Dance or Limited from the year before, she'll win. So probably you'll see Salsaretta in the Mayor's Grade 1 Novice Hurdle at Ferry House at Easter.
Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then we'll take a break. Yes, in the specs there. Oh, you both got specs on.
Well, hopefully they'll run him in the 4 miler because that's definitely the race for him. He jumps really well. He could do with a bit of dig in the ground. Hopefully he'll get one of the top Irish boys to ride him. You get a Jamie Codd or someone like that. Would be nice.
Both trains are running fine.
They're
Well,
booked.
Well, it's right if you can get a good. Obviously, it matters so much to get a real top.
There are plenty of good Irish amateurs out there. You know, there's Jamie and Derek and
Gordon has that race sewn up. I did.
He sets a pretty high standard, mine, Elegance.
He does, yeah. I did a. Gordon is the big read on Sunday, and I went to visit him last week for the big read. And I said one thing before I went out. I said, will you just please do me one thing? I said, I've only backed one of your horses for Cheltenham, and I was running the 4 miler, and it was called Jury Duty. I said, will you please just make sure he runs, because I haven't backed him non-runner, no bet. And he says, basically, if he had his way, he wouldn't be running, and he'd be saving him for the Irish National, because he really wants to run Dunicus in the 4 miler. And Dunicus has by far the best form in the race.
Good horse, yeah. Absolutely good horse.
And he stays forever, and I'd imagine... Like Gordon has an incredible record in this race. He's only ran 5 horses in the National Hunt Chase. He's had 3 winners. Noble Endeavour would have been probably second in Manila Rocco, fell at the second last, and he just knows what it takes to win that race. And I think Dunicus could go off possibly 5-2. So I'd advise you to get on there.
Will Jan York win the race?
Yanworth win what race? Oh, we'll come to that later. We'll come to that later. Day 3. I did take 2 more questions. Then we're going to have a half an hour break. Yes, here.
Seems like Mellon's the forgotten horse in the champion hurdle, coming second in Supreme last year, pretty close behind the new one recently, but it's still an up-and-coming, they're still quite young. Is there a chance for a huge way in that race?
Is Mellon the forgotten horse in the champion hurdle, and should he have been forgotten about? Anyone want to take that?
Working better, but I think it's always hard for those second season sort of novices in those big races. He ran too bad to be true the last day. He'll be better, but I'm not sure he'll win.
Form is working out shot.
Now the gentleman there in the black, yeah.
How's Ruby doing, and is he definitely going to be fit to ride in the festival?
The best question so far.
Good point.
I spoke to Ruby. Oh. I spoke to Ruby. I speak to Ruby most days, and I spoke to Ruby yesterday. Ruby is in great form. He is fine. He's been at work, watching work, almost every day. They work at Willie's, they work Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. He's been there every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the last few weeks. He's at the Rehabilitation Center, Santry, 4 times a week, crying with the work he's doing. He looks fantastic. He will not ride this weekend. He will ride out this weekend, and I'm not sure if he'll ride in a race before Cheltenham. What we talked about was maybe, I'm sure he'll want to ride, but he won't ride a chase or anything like that where he could fall. You know that grade 2 at Sandown, that mare's race? He might run there, where he runs in the bumper. Yeah, he might run a bumper. He might run a bumper, or a hurdle somewhere in Ireland. I don't know. I don't think he'll have many rides before
Would that not
we
worry
go.
you, Rich?
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
One bumper and then ride Get a Bird, his first ride over hurdles.
Of course it would, but I'll tell you one thing. He is
Best we've ever seen.
It would worry you in the sense that yes, of course it would, and he's riding our horse, and maybe our horse is going to be the cannon fodder. It is what it is. That being said, he's in great nick. He's in great physical condition.
It's the best big time jockey we've seen.
Hang on. I just want to ask Rich again. If it comes to that first race of the first day, it's quite a simple choice. You've got Ruby Walsh off the back of 1 bumper ride, or perhaps no rides at all.
Or no rides at all, maybe, yeah. Maybe,
or Paul Townend in flying form.
He's been hurt as well.
Do you still take Ruby every time?
Ruby. Absolutely, every day of the week.
Who would you take, Nick?
I'd take Ruby because he's the best jockey there's ever been at Cheltenham. But I've got to ask the question. Not everyone would say the same thing. Go on, we'll take a couple more. Back there.
Thank you, Nick and Rich. So every year, my brother's just here, by the way.
Hello, bro.
He fancies himself a
Cute.
bit of a handicap specialist. This year, he's picked out, every year for the last 3 or 4 years, he's lost. But this year, he's picked out Bouvril. What do you think of Bouvril's chances?
Bouvroy. What the hell? What race?
No, go, sorry.
He's
Sorry,
trying.
I think he's speaking Swahili. Keely will know.
He's been second at the last 3 festivals.
Yeah, he's trained by Paul Nichols. He's been placed at the last 2 festivals at least, maybe 3. He'll run well whatever he runs in. I would actually like to see him be dropped in trip and running the and running the Grand Annual, because I don't think he quite gets home over 2.5 in a really, really strong run race. But you know, he will run well. He will definitely.
He's
run
just
well.
a weak finisher, is his.
Yeah, which is
his
why I
Achilles
think, you know,
heel.
if you get a flat out 2 mile, he might go well.
Go on.
Right, last one for the moment, then we're going to take a break. Down here.
I just want to go back to the Supreme, and I just think if Kalishnikov was trained by anybody other than Amy Murphy, would it be favourite?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I hate that question because he's not trained by anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's factored into the price.
Yes is the answer.
Yeah, but it's a.
Kalishnikov is 5-1, trained by Amy Murphy, who I believe will be the best trained that we've seen for many moons.
Yeah, she could be. She's already won the richest handicap hurdle in Britain with a novice. Why not? Yeah, I agree, totally agree.
Had it been by anybody else, Willie Mullins?
Yeah.
Nicky Henderson, he'd be favourite.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Nicky Henderson's
Amy-
won 51
50
Cheltenham
races.
Festival
Yeah,
races.
yeah,
Amy
Amy
Murphy's
has
won
won
none.
it. Paul
I love
Nichols-
Amy to bits. I think she's brilliant.
But you said earlier that a certain horse is trained by someone else would be half the price.
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be.
Jennings, step in.
No,
Yes, correct.
You hear this at every preview night, and everybody asks the same question: if it was trained. But that's one of the things, like ground, like form, like everything else. It's one of the things that's factored into the price. So that's why it's a. Sorry, I'm sure you know your stuff, but I think it's a question that bugs me because he's not trained by anybody else. He's trained by Amy Murphy. We don't know if Amy Murphy is going to be Willie Mullins in 10 years' time. So the fact that she doesn't know yet how to train a Supreme Novice
Yeah,
hurdle
if
winner,
you think she
and that's
is
why it's
and you're
5-1.
right, you know, that's it. You know what I mean? Back your opinion.
She's good.
Right.
She's good trainer.
Fantastic way to end.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. The first act is done.